The 1980s and 90s, and continuing to today, is a time of great decentralization in the federal human resources management system. Among the early initiatives was the 1993 National Performance Review, or in other words, also known as the Gore Report. It stated that to create an effective federal government, we must reform virtually the entire personnel system, including recruitment, hiring, classification, promotion, pay, and reward systems. As a result of the Gore Report, the federal government took the following actions. It deregulated personnel policy by phasing out the 10,000 plus page federal personnel manual and all agency implementing directives. It gave all departments and agencies authority to conduct their own recruitment and examinations for all positions and abolished all central registers and standard application forms. It dramatically simplified the current classification system to give agencies greater flexibility in how they classify and pay their employees. It allowed agencies to design their own performance management and reward systems with the objective of improving the performance of individuals and organizations. It also sought to reduce by half the time required to terminate federal managers and employees for cause. In addition to decentralization, all levels of government have sought to privatize many functions. Since 1995, privatization has become a much more common practice. The practice of hiring non-government employees to perform government functions is not without controversy, however. First, contracting out jobs to private firms has taken on qualities of a new political patronage system. Contracts for public services may be used as rewards for campaign supporters, just as political jobs once were. Second, it is unclear if contracting out government jobs to private firms really saves the taxpayers money. Numerous studies have tried to measure the cost-effectiveness of contracting out policies with significantly varied findings. And I would agree, in my own experience, in positions I've held, we've contracted some services in an effort to save money, and at times it does save money. At other times it does not necessarily save money, but it simply allows the community to provide services that it does not have the staff to provide without hiring new staff. So it can be both good and bad. Patronage appointments have been a long-standing practice at all levels of government for literally hundreds of years. Patronage is the power of elected and appointed officials to make partisan appointments to office or to confer contracts, honors, or other benefits on their political supporters. The cartoon on the left is of Governor Deval Patrick of Massachusetts. He's been criticized for offering his friends patronage positions, including contracts and other rewards. While subject to frequent attack from reformers, patronage has traditionally been the method by which political leaders ensure themselves a loyal support system of people who will carry out their policies and organize voters for their continued political control. The patronage appointment process is more commonly known as the spoils system. And the cartoon on the right is certainly from several hundred years ago when it was known as the spoils system. As the influence and power of labor unions in the private sector continues to shrink, unions have sought greater and greater efforts to unionize public sector employees. Unions are groups of employees who create a formal organization or union to represent their interests before management. Labor relations is a term for all of the interaction between the union leaders, which represent the employees, and management, which represent the corporation or jurisdiction. Collective bargaining is bargaining on behalf of a group of employees as opposed to individual bargaining in which each worker represents only himself or herself. Collective bargaining is a comprehensive term that encompasses the negotiating process that leads to a contract between labor and management on wages, hours, and other conditions of employment, as well as to the subsequent administration and interaction of the signed contract. Collective bargaining is, in effect, the continuous relation between union representatives and employers. There are 4 basic stages to collective bargaining. They include, first, the establishment of organizations for bargaining. And to do that, a union must hold a certification vote, where the employees that are considering being brought under the union vote whether to allow the union to represent them. Then there is the formation of demands, where the union representatives will present a list of demands to management. Then management and the union negotiate those demands to come up with an agreement. And then once all terms are agreed and the contract is signed, the agreement must be administered by management. We have now concluded this week's lecture. Before you answer the discussion questions and the assignment, please complete all readings and posted YouTube videos. Good luck this week.